popped up and said we're live, and I got a bunch of comments, so I guess that means we're live. Woo, and welcome to Drone Therapy, mastering drone photography in unforgettable locations. And before anybody freaks out, I'm not talking, it doesn't have to be a big fancy place. It could be like in some places in the trailer where like some leaves, that were changing color with the season, a waterfall that might be in your area that you can get to, that, you can fly your drone at. To other people, they may be unforgettable. So basically, the kind of show we're talking about this week is how to get good pictures and how to develop them and go from there. And as you can see, I have Brian here, and I also have Ron Brown, and I have another guest that I'm hoping will show up here soon. And we'll talk, because I've noticed that Brian has really stepped up his photography game here in the last year or so. And so I figured if we could try to, tap on him and see if he could talk more about what he does to get a shot. And then I actually used some information to come up with a show plan too. And so I can give you, so I can give you, we can go kind of through it and maybe go step by step. And then you could say if there was something different that you might do, and you can interject that way. But before I do that, I'd like to roll over here to chat real quick and see Jody came in early. Drone shots. Good to see you, sir. Good to have you in the house. Warren Kira Show. Good to see Warren. You. Scott Nadeau. I think he finally got his stuff, didn't he?
Scott, I don't know. Scott, did you get your Air 3S? Let us know in the chat.
I think so. I'm hoping so. And Brian from Waypoint, New England. Glad to have you as well.
Brian.
Good to see you in the house. USA Drone Flyer. Good to have you in the house. Glad to see you. And here he is. He came in right here. We got him in here.
Car has arrived.
Let's see. And we got Big Orange Drone Flyer. Zach, good to have you in the house too. You can see Brian's telling the Curious Show, Waypoint, everybody, howdy, howdy, howdy. And he's Scott, everybody too. Anybody else? So far, no, that is all we have. Okay, so first things first. I've already sent the other gentleman the information, and it was sent to me early this morning. Hey, Art, wait a minute.
Oh,
Artco Drones and Entertainment. I didn't say solutions this time. Haha, I got it right. It took me only, 3 months?
I'll say solutions for the next 3 years. So.
Yeah. So anyway, if Mackey's, I guess you would say, final judgment came down, what was it? Probably almost 2 weeks ago. And from reading this, it says it was on a Sunday.
That's odd.
Yeah, I thought that was very odd. Basically, long story short, he had to agree to some certain stipulations, so I guess he would avoid jail time.
Basically, he had to agree to all the charges.
Yes, and the enormous fine. So, in order to do so, he will never, in any manner, never operate in any manner, any SUAS of any type, size, model of any kind within the United States, nor will he seek any type of certification or license to operate any type or form of SUAS. He must take down the YouTube channel known as Philly Drone Life and no longer operate or resurrect its contents or any part in any form. Abandon those. He basically had to, give up some drones and stuff that he gave to them
in last summer. Right?
Yeah, so he can't get them back. They're forfeit.
Yeah.
And then he pretty much has to abide by this or face much harsher penalties. And we've had some people check, and Philly Drone Life is no more. But has it been gone for, has it been gone for just 2 weeks, or has it been gone for a while? I don't know. I haven't looked.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm sorry.
The only thing that I thought was kind of bogus about it was they made the stipulations for his release, I guess you would say, that he could no longer have the drone channel, which right. I thought was kind of, I'm like, he's just talking when he's on the drone channel, man. But he did put up a lot of content through that channel.
About his backlog of videos, though. He's a lot of those supposed bad videos posted on the channel.
Yeah, but to say that he couldn't even talk about it anymore, I mean, I feel that's maybe a little bit too far. That's me. That's just me. Don't get mad. I just thought, talked to a couple of people, and they were like, "Yeah, I think that was a little bit of an overreach." But if he agreed to that instead of having to pay that was 152K and
More
the
than
jail time.
higher, up that number. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he got the benefit of the doubt there. So what are we saying over here?
Warren says taking down the website seems like censorship.
Oh well, hey, we'll try to. If I'll try. Wait a minute, I'm gonna write that down right now. I'll try to remember to highlight another one in the future.
NL from Canada, thank you for featuring one of my videos a while back. You're welcome, joining NL.
And I just wrote your channel name down so I will remember later to go check, and we'll highlight one here in another week or two.
Hopefully, you picked up a few subs from that showing of that video.
Yeah, see, that's Warren. That's what Warren. That's what we were talking about too. We thought that was maybe just a tad bit far of a reach, but they may have said, "Hey, look, you don't have to pay the $152,000, and you don't have to serve 6 months in jail. All you have to do is take down that channel and never have anything to do with it again."
And the important thing, I think, Bill is, I think the important thing, remember, Mikey had no legal representation, so he was basically at the, at whatever the court wanted, because he had no pushback at all.
Oh, it was 100. I thought it was 152, 182.
Yeah, I know roundabout at one point it was 175. So.
Oh wow! Either way. So
well, remember, Mikey said it didn't matter if it was 175, 150. Mikey couldn't afford it if it was $150.
Right.
Let alone $150,000.
Right. Okay. So I've got that out of the way. And so if anybody is still in contact with him, please reach out to him and make sure he's doing okay. I don't have any way to get in touch with him anymore. So I just want to make sure.
Mikey's kind of going silent for.
I know that's why if someone or anybody out there within the range of this voice hears, I mean, I still like the guy. I have nothing against him. I hate that it happened to him, but and it sucks. But I can't do anything about it.
I mean, maybe he wanted to make a clean break from the drone community, and that's maybe why he dropped communications.
Possibly.
I understand that.
That would make sense.
If he's got to walk away, he might as well make a clean break. I get that.
Okay, we went squirrel for a little while.
Yeah,
let's get back on track. Okay, so mastering drone photography in unforgettable locations. Like I was talking about earlier, an unforgettable location could be different for different people. It could be something that you drove 5 hours just to fly a drone, and to you, it was worth it, and it made that an unforgettable location. So the purpose of what I'm trying to say is we want to get about how you use your drone to take pictures that when you see that picture, immediately your brain is filled with all those memories and you get a rush of what all went on that day. So those were what really makes it unforgettable to me. So I don't know about you all on the panel, and I will ask that in a minute. We'll ask some people in the chat too. What all do you think makes an unforgettable location? First off, that's what we're going to say. And because number one here, it says plan your shots in advance. So I guess the simplest way to plan in advance would be, what is an unforgettable location to you? Ron Brown.
We'll use an unforgettable location planning shot. More than 5 years ago, I went to Oregon, and they have a waterfall there, and the name escapes on top of my tongue, but one of the world's most famous waterfalls is in Oregon. So I knew I was going there. I knew I wanted to get a slow shutter shot of it. We see the waterfall, like kind of, that kind of glow to it. So I knew where I wanted to stand. I knew what ND filter I wanted to use. I knew my camera settings all before I even walked in there for the first time. And, for me, that was a shot I always wanted, so unforgettable. And that was a planned shot because I knew everything I wanted to do before I even walked into the area. So that's kind of a combination of a planned shot and a memorable shot, a shot I always wanted. And like on another trip, I wanted to get the slot canyons in Utah. So that was like a photo that I thought about for years before I actually went to and took the photo.
Yeah, you mean Multnomah Falls?
Multnomah, thank you, Bill.
It is. It's a huge popular. I mean, it's a big. When I first moved here with my wife, we went down there probably after I'd lived here about 3 years, maybe 3.5 years, and it was, kind of a semi big tourist spot, but we still were able to park there. And I think at that time it may have had parking for about 35 cars. Okay.
Yeah.
And it worked out perfect. We got to go in all those places. We got to hang out and do everything. But now it's gotten to be such a tourist place that I think they've got, like, you go in the tunnel under the dam,
Yep.
under
Yep.
I-5,
Yep.
and on the other side there's like this huge parking lot layout.
Yeah.
So they've got room now for like 150 to 200 cars.
Yeah, well, guess what, Bill? That's what it was when I went, but it was still closed when I got there. I couldn't even park in that 150 parking lot, walk under the bridge of the highway. I had to go to a kind of a location a couple miles down the road and take a shuttle bus back.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the last time we went, the place had was not quite that huge yet, and it was more like they kind of made it like a I want to say like a Swiss chalet kind of deal. And you walked up gradually up to the falls, and
Yeah, yeah.
they had these really killer places where, I mean, there's a lot of places to get good views.
Right, I walked
Get
over. I
good
took a
talk.
shot down from the bridge, and everything too. Hey, small. What do you go and scroll for a second? So I'm in Multnomah Falls. I'm getting all set up over, and there's a guy with a Mavic Air. That's when the Mavic Air was new or whatever. He's flying it right beside me, getting my shot or whatever. And of course, it was a no drone signs all over the place, and the guy's flying the Mavic Air and I don't think a park ranger came and stopped him. I think he flew, got his shot, landed, and walked away.
Well, something else I will tell you is, as far as I know, you could get away with taking off in the parking lot because technically it's not part of the park. I think
Right.
it's actually owned by somebody different. I think it's because you pay somebody, you don't pay the state, you pay a private entity you're parking. So you
Okay.
could technically take off from the parking lot
Right. Right.
and fly, but you got to, I would be very careful about flying over 2 lanes of I-5. But
Yeah. 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 But
but
this guy,
once
he
you get
flew.
over there, yeah, you can line it up and take a shot because Dale has done it many times.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Dale has done it many times,
Wow.
and I know a few other people who have done it. But there's a lot of places you can get there. So you're saying is waterfalls for you are unforgettable location, or nature, I guess, would be
Yeah. Yeah.
unforgettable for
Yeah.
you.
Basically, kind of nature spots again, like Multnomah Falls, Slot Canyons in Utah, things that I've been admiring photos of basically my most of my adult life.
Cool. All right. And then I will now ask Brian, what would you consider an unforgettable location? And said so, how would you plan for the shot?
Alex is going to agree with me on this one. Almost anything near water, a body of water, and that follows up with Ron's thing about a waterfall. Water is always an interesting subject, either just by its flow, what's on it, what's going on it, what's going on around it. Water is a good thing to have in your shot, be it a photo or a video, because it's just always more interesting than, say, I don't know, a sidewalk shot in an urban area or a city. You know, um, it's in other words, it's a lot more. A lot of people live near the coast, but a lot more don't get to see stuff near the water. So a lot of people find it interesting.
Yeah, most of my adult life, I didn't had to drive probably 3 hours to be near a body of water that wasn't a creek. You know, so wasn't one of them things that we jumped in and hud and crawdads. So okay, now we'll jump over Alex. What do you think, and how would you prep?
Uh, well, I'm kind of lucky. Can you hear me all right? Because I'm
You,
You're a
you're a
driving.
little low.
little
You're a
low.
little low on the
Low.
volume.
Okay. Let's see. All right. I'll after I do this, then I'll maybe jump off and try to fix it.
Okay.
Um, so I'm lucky, I think, living in Miami, where, as Brian said, there's bodies of water, but there's a lot of other things. Granted, it's flat here in Florida,
Ooh.
but there's skylines, the beautiful sunrises off the
Mm-mm.
ocean. There's all sorts of things. There's inlets. all sorts of crazy stuff where it's fun to fly. But touching on what Ron said, I think dream places are anywhere that you would go on vacation that you would love to go. Unfortunately, when I was younger, I've been to places where drones weren't really around. Like I've
Yeah.
been to Hawaii, I've been to Germany, Oberammergau, where the castles are, and Munich, all sorts of fun places where now I think back, I'd love to revisit these places with a drone,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
and just photo the heck out of it. And so I think, to answer your question, I think I'm lucky. I don't travel that much anymore, but I am lucky to be in an area where there's water, skyline, and everything else.
Yeah, you're in a scenic kind of best vacation destination. You just like I do. I live in a vacation town, one of it we have all in common. I believe Brian and Alex. We're all flatlanders, right? Brian, you're a flatlander,
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
So we're all flatlanders. We don't have any mountains or hills. Where Bill, you have spectacular mountains and stuff like that.
And
Hills in your
I
area.
grew up in Southwest Virginia, and I really I lived in the hills. So yeah, we had little mountains there, older
Yeah.
mountains, but yeah, little mountains there too.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in hill country in PA, but I have lived there in a long time.
Yeah, I could drive like 30 minutes and be in the middle of probably knee deep snow and on top of a mountain.
So you have incredible scenery that most people don't have access to.
Well, see, that's another thing too. And I've talked about it and talked about it going on 9 years now. One of these days I need, because Angel's just frustrated at this point. He's like, he's always offering, anytime you want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and drive down the city and meet me, we'll go get some spectacular shots. And I'm just sitting here going, if I met you in the city at 5 o'clock in the morning, that means I'd have to get out of bed about 3:30, take a shower. And as of yet, I have not managed to do that. Now,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, my wife is going, go,
yeah.
go.
Yeah, we
You
know
know,
you're right. That's a big commitment to get up in the middle of the night.
well, and it's the same thing too. I could very well go down there at say 5:30 and meet him too, but then I got to drive all the way back and fight my way through the traffic and stuff getting home. So it could be that if I get down there, now I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had a blast down there, and I've took some. There's been some parks that we went to, and I've gotten some good footage. But my problem is that I've noticed is I'll take 2 or 3 pictures in a stretch, like I'll like say the Space Needle. Okay, to me that's an unforgettable sight. That's
Right.
something that's iconic with Seattle. And when I got here and I started flying drones, that was one of the first things I want to do, to take pictures of. But where I screw up is I need to, like, I'd have a front shot of the Space Needle, and I take like 8 photos, but I wouldn't really get a different aspect or a different view, or maybe go lower and tilt the camera up. And then I'd get home and I'd go, okay, I've got 8 really cool pictures of that one view, but then I'm like, oh, surely didn't I take? Oh, I thought nah, and I didn't. So it's really, I guess,
Well,
to
that's where your planning comes in, Bill. You need to think that stuff out even before you get there. Thinking, well, I want to take a couple photos from this side. I want to take a couple from this side. Kind of plan where you're going to take those photos before you even get down there.
and in the words of Lance Cadena, trust the technology. See, that's, you all would absolutely laugh your asses off at me. Hopefully, before we all take the long ride, I get to fly with you guys, because you're gonna laugh your hat. Because I swear the drone will get 500 feet away from me over water, and you'll see me start clenching. And then they get about 600 feet out, and you'll see me clench even harder. And
Bill,
then
you're
you get
not the
about
Bill, you're
700,
not the only one.
and then
You're
you
not
see
the
me
only
get out
one.
about 700 to 1,000 feet, and then somebody will be like, "Damn, I wish we had a lump of coal."
Yeah.
And you see the yellow bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Bill, you brought up a good point a while ago about getting up early, and Alex and Brian do a great job of this. You don't like to get up early or whatever, but the light at the beginning of the day, edge of the day, beginning of the day, and the end of the day. That's some of the best light there is to capture your photos. At I'm going to say photos even more so than video. That's really when you want to be captured with that beautiful light. It's
Golden
hitting,
hour.
especially when it's coming in the direction of hitting your subject.
Now here's
Brian, you kind of agree with that, right?
Definitely.
what about blue hour photos?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
A
I'll
lot
go
of
Now,
blue
people
I
love
didn't
hour.
the
know.
blue
I
hour. I
didn't.
don't do a good job with blue hour photos, but a lot of people do, and they get great images at the blue hour.
Okay, well this is something that Brian and I were speaking. Brian and I were speaking about before we went live. Number two, understanding your drone's capabilities. Now, Brian was talking about the most recent update, and I know you have one too, Ron, with the Air 3S. Basically, it's almost, you can't tell a difference between optical zoom and digital zoom, that there's almost lossless due to AI technology. So, what do you think of that?
Brian,
Go
you go
ahead.
ahead.
Um, like I said, you would think that somewhere in there, like on the edges, you're going to get pixelation or something. No, it is. I feel like I'm looking through a telescope, a clear star quality telescope when I'm shooting with that Air 3S. And I mean, it's probably going to get somebody sooner or later in trouble because if I can look at a boat that's up 2 miles away and it looks like it's only about a quarter of a mile away, yeah, I can picture somebody in an urban area in a high rise pointing that camera at somebody's bedroom. That's not going to be good. And it's going to be really clear.
I'm going to kind of jump on what Brian's saying there. Like if I know, poor Alex, you haven't had that like kind of middle camera that whatever that what is it,
The
70
3X.
millimeter, yeah, the 5x camera. You could take that 5x and use a digital zoom on it and whatever, and it looks better than using that long camera on the Mavic 3.
Which
It
I have
does.
used. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather just use digital zoom on the that 5x tele camera on that's on the Air 3S, Air 3N actually Mavic 3 Pro, and just zoom that in rather than use that funky real long camera in the Mavic 3.
You know, and there's another thing too that I've really gotten to play with in the last year more than I ever used to was white balance. You want
Mm-hmm.
to
Okay.
really get to know those white balance strengths and how they work at different times of the day. I mean,
Right.
when it's dark, you want anything below 4,000. When it's uh, dusk or dawn, early dawn, something in the 4 to 5,000 range works. Full daylight, you want 60 to 70, 6,000 to 7,000, and it's gonna make the world of difference.
Depending on what type of look you want. Like sometimes at a sunset, I'll bump the Kelvin up a little higher if I want
Exactly.
kind of an overly kind of orangish thing. But sometimes I
Bill,
don't want that. Sometimes I want to look a little more bluer. Then I'll take it down,
right, right,
to
right. Because
48 something like that.
Bill
It all
mentioned like the
depends on
blue
what
hour.
you're going for.
Bill mentioned the blue hour, and I've done that before. Is I'll take that white balance down below 4,000, like set it at 30, 37, 38, 39 at a sunset, and it completely changes everything.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Or if you don't know what you want, just shoot raw and just change it all in post.
Yeah, you can do that. The other thing too is if we're going to be talking about what you can do, and this is for anybody who's considering photography and this stuff, the easiest way to start photography is to shoot AEB and have something to bring it
Yeah,
all into and make one picture out of say five.
yeah.
And
Basically HDR.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it'll give you a lot to work with as much as shooting a raw photo.
And even if you don't know how to do HDR or whatever, you don't want to learn, I still take brackets because in post I can decide which one looks better.
That's what I
Does
do.
the
Yeah.
overexposed look better? Does the underexposed look better? Or does the
Yep,
one the camera chose look better? Or you could do 5 brackets or 7 brackets, depending on what drone you have. But yeah, I shoot brackets even if I'm not going to merge them.
yep.
Yeah. It's a good way. It's a good
I'm
way. Yeah.
looking.
You don't
I
have to
had
merge them.
oh, here it is.
It's funny. I do some real estate drone work. I only do the drone work. I usually the photographer hires me because they don't want to learn how to fly a drone. But I have some photographers. They even do their indoor shots doing all HDR, and some use ambient light. Every one has a different like technique. whether they're going to brackets or whatever, indoor photographers.
But you were talking about the blue hour. I think the best lighting is right at the tail end of the blue and right before the golden hour starts. I think
You know,
that's the most beautiful, especially off
yeah,
water.
this is
It's
a shot
awesome.
that I took at dawn out in Baytown using, uh, I believe it was 3800 on the white balance scale.
Mm.
And if you
Oh,
notice,
you did it
everything,
manually?
yeah, yeah,
Ooh.
everything is blue, including the
Yeah.
white. A lot of people don't like that because it's not a true white, and you can play with that in post. It's a pain in the butt, but I like the overall effect of that blue tint
I
in
do, yeah,
some
yeah.
pictures.
And
So
that
I like
basically
it
looks
too.
like one of the old, in the old days of, analog photos, where that looks like somebody's film from the old days.
Well, did
yeah,
you notice too that boat in the foreground looked like it was ready for a 3-hour tour?
it probably was. They do tours out of there.
No, but I love that kind of blue look. I wish I would take photos to do
Yes.
that more.
Ron, how long have we been with Skylum?
Yeah, yeah. Since they were called Skyline, I first started playing with them when they were only iPhone apps, and then they moved
Now,
to the
you
computer
got
and
me
gave up
there.
gave up the apps, and now they went back to apps again for the phone.
Well, and then we had what was the one that was just for drones? What
Yeah,
was that?
yeah, yeah. They only did it one time.
It was like Luminar Air or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And you got it. You spent $25 and you got it for life.
I still
yeah.
use Luminar.
And they never
Oh, I
updated.
use the hell. I use it and probably two other photo editing programs.
My
Yeah,
main ones are Adobe Lightroom and Luminar.
Me
I
too.
and
can't
you
afford
could use
Adobe.
Luminar as a plug-in for
Yes,
Lightroom
yeah,
too.
Did you hear me, Adobe? I can't afford your product.
$10 a month.
I
Yeah.
can't get it for $10 a month.
And you could, I think you could pay for it for a year and get it even a little cheaper than that.
Yeah,
Right, but the thing about it is I don't understand it well enough, and I've got that's an okay. We're getting off
No,
track
Bill,
here.
I'm going to stop. Bill, you're right. Learning Lightroom, even it's a world of hurt. It's a big commitment.
Okay, number three, experiment with different angles. I'm going to read what this says first. Top down views. A classic bird's eye shot can give you the sense of scale and perspective that's difficult to achieve from the ground. Low aerial angles, flying closer to the ground, creates a sense of intimacy, showcasing textures and details in the landscape. Tracking shots. Follow a subject like a car or a person with your drone flying parallel for dramatic motion
now
shots.
some people might call that stalking shots, but it's just
And
Otherwise known as the
that's more
Neo.
video centric. There, what you were saying, right, Bill?
Do what now?
That was more video centric. That those tracking shots and so on.
Well, the thing about it is you can still take stills out of your video and
Yeah.
use them to create stuff because if anybody does any kind of astrophotography with your iPhone, what do you do? What's the best way to get it? You have to put it in video mode, and then you can scale it all down, and you can actually get like really good moonshots and stuff when you do it for video. And then you just take a screenshot out, turn it into whatever, and go from there.
Interesting.
Billy. You talk about perspective, and
No, that's
let
what
me
the paper
go
says.
over. Now, here's some perspective. Did that not come up? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
This is perspective from one drone sitting in one place within about
Where's Billy Bob?
less than a minute of each other. Watch.
Oh wow.
And this is the Air 3S. Do you see any that oil rig thing? That's 2.5 miles from where I'm standing.
Wow. Great shot.
That's what I said. Where's Billy Bob?
But that's what I'm saying, though. A lot of it can depend on the drone. But when it comes to perspective, when you can go long and short and without moving anything, that's a big plus there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know about 360 photos.
360 photos are just fun. they're not meant to be serious photos or anything. They're just kind of goofy, And I have a lot of fun with those too.
Mm.
In fact, Alex, do you still put your Insta 360 on top of your car?
Alex has
Yeah,
Alex has a
on a
sphere.
selfie stick. Actually,
Yeah,
no, I don't put anything on the car. I have a moonroof, and I just hold the stick up out the
that's
moonroof.
that's what I was meaning. Yeah, I said, "Damn, what a great idea!" So I tie wrapped mine to the roof of my car. Got the same effect.
I get a
But
lot of
oh,
looks, but
Angel would have his wife hold the camera. And the thing about it is I've tried that with my wife once or twice, and but usually when we're driving down the road, she's like playing a game on her phone, or she's talking to the grandkids, going, "We're about 40 minutes away. We'll be there in just a little bit," and then I'll be like, "Baby, could you take some pictures of and because she says that I make her nervous when I'm in the passenger seat."
Oh,
You're you're hitting that imaginary brake there in the front of you, aren't you?
Yes. She's like, "What do you? Why do I keep hearing like a bass drum on your side of the car? It's
Yeah.
not a bass drum. It's me hitting that brake." But
hey,
no,
Alex, tell the panel about the trick you taught Ray Kelly at the beat meet up about getting that kind of 360 shot from the ground of the drone taking off for landing.
oh well, I saw that in the video and I just copied it, but he thinks it's my idea. But no, you just simply take the phone, face it down, hit record. The first time I did it through the moonroof with the glass closed, and simply put the camera up, and from inside the car took off, and watched a new perspective of the drone from the bottom taking off. Then I did it with an action cam at Jupiter
Okay.
at the lighthouse, and did a takeoff with the action camera below it, and he was just fascinated with it, and so he decided to try it, and so he's happy with his shot.
Well, I'm gonna
Speaking
try
of
it now.
perspectives, like I'm a proponent of you don't have to fly 350 feet in the air to get a good shot. For me,
Right.
I rarely have to take the drone like 100 feet, over
I
100
was
feet.
gonna say, all
I
my
like,
headshots come about 100 feet.
yeah, I like the depth that you get from a
Yeah.
lower shot.
Yeah.
It's especially if it's a long river or a road, and you see that depth, or railroad tracks or whatever. You see that better for depth than you do at from a higher.
I really
In
want
my
an
opinion.
airplane
In my
view
opinion.
of what I'm filming. I don't
Yeah.
need that 400-foot down. I don't need that airport shot most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I like that top down right over the control tower when I can get it. It's just one of those things that. Oh, never mind. Another thing. One of the things that you did a couple of years ago, and to this day, I know how I can do it, but I've yet to take the time to do it. Was you took a 360 photo and put yourself on top of the world? That drives me nuts to know how you did that. Because you could use GIMP to do it, but that's a pain in the butt.
Oh, I'll tell you offline. No, it's all in the studio. All in the
Yeah, I know
studio.
it is. I know, yeah, it had to be. Because I'm
Yeah.
just going, okay, there's no way in hell I can do that with the drone and it's going to look right. Unless I'm
Yeah.
standing on the drone.
No. It's all manipulation.
Yep.
number 4, consider weather conditions. Flying in high winds can be tricky. Who would have thought? If you're new to drone
No
photography,
bracket shots on that day.
yeah, yeah. Not unless we were on LSD this day, and so these pictures really tell you what happened that day. Anyway, never mind. Next subject. Avoid flying in gusty conditions. However, some windy weather can create interesting cloud patterns and lighting effects. Lighting in clouds, overcast skies can create soft, diffused light, which is perfect for capturing details without harsh shadows. Clear skies give you more dramatic contrast, but clouds can add texture and mood.
Very true. And of
Well,
course,
Brian, talk about
one
how
of the
much you like
caveats is if you live close to the water, like we all just talked about earlier, that usually means you're in kind of a windier environment than people that live, way inland. I mean, Alex, you probably like me, you probably fight wind more often than you don't.
Yeah, yeah, and if it's a perfectly still day, it's on bracketing. If it's on a windy day, I just take single shots and take
Right.
plenty of them because there's always going to be a mess of shots before you find that good one.
Yeah, because even though you have a three-axis gimbal in most of your drones now, the wind still can create a little shake in a photo,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and
especially if you're not shooting at a real high shutter speed.
where is my
and that's where those clouds come in at that between that blue and golden hour because you get that pink clouds everywhere and orange. That's where all
Yep,
the colors come out.
yep,
So I love the clouds.
yep. Oh, yeah, I hate a clear, perfectly clear sky. Brian's got a little video of some clouds he wants to show us here.
Okay, let me get back over here. Chickaboom.
This is just a hyperlapse I did about 2 weeks ago on a Sunday morning.
Oh, wow. Look
And
at that.
like the clouds
Oh
are
wow.
the game changer
Look at the sun
when it
rays.
comes to this. And this is a 10-second lapse, so this was over 10 minutes time. But those clouds were moving at like 35, 40 miles an hour. So that's a big plus too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Beautiful.
Wow.
But again, yeah, that's another one of them things to consider.
No, but Bill, that thing, again, I hate to go out when I don't have interesting clouds. I hate like this. If it's a totally blue sky, then I'll try to film something up, not necessarily the sky or whatever. I live for those beautiful clouds.
Well, it came out right this time.
Yeah.
the bad thing about it is I've gotten so, I don't want to say knowledgeable, I'm just more aware. By about 3 in the afternoon, I'll start looking at the clouds going, honey, hold dinner. I will be a little bit late.
Yeah. Now I've had a thing
Opportunistic
where I've
flying.
had seen beautiful clouds in the middle of the afternoon, and I think, well, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a few hours until the sun starts going down for the fly drone. And then I wait, and they're gone. The sky cleared out or whatever. I said, darn, I should have gone out in midday.
Another thing too is UAV forecast.
Yeah.
The utility there. Even the free version that'll just jump a few hours ahead of the day that you're on
Mm-hmm.
will give you a percentage of cloud cover in the sky at any given time that day. And what I've found is anything less than 65%, yeah, I'm going out. More than that, I'm probably going to get a blocked sun. So
Yeah.
it may not be worth the effort. But 65%, between 35 and 65% of green light. I know I'm going out.
Yeah.
And that's on UAV forecast.
Yeah.
What is he making? What is he making? Oh, not gonna let you know yet.
It's opportunistic too, whenever you find the opportunity. This morning I woke up and the phone was signaling to me that there was going to be a lot of fog, and I was like, yes. So I made a pit stop and got some shots,
I saw that.
and
Um,
so
that
sometimes
is
it's
something.
the right time. You're there at the right time.
That is something I've yet to be able to do is get a decent fog picture after all these years.
I happened to get lucky one time. We were having a meetup, and I got the video of this weird, like, fog snake that kind of encircled us. It was trippy, 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 and that was, I think, the furthest I flew my drone out because I could actually still see the speck that was my drone. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay. But see,
yeah.
like most of, like my vision, for super distance is not that great. So I can't go out near as far as other people. Let me see.
You've got to
Number
start
five.
putting probes on your
What, go
bird.
ahead. Do you have another one? Okay. Mastering aerial techniques. Orbiting, flying your drone around the subject in a circular path for a dynamic shot. This works great for architectural structures, landmarks, and natural features like mountains. Reveal shots. Start your drone at a low elevation and gradually rise to reveal the full landscape or stunning vista. It
Can't do
builds
that.
anticipation and adds depth to your shot. Zooming in and out. Some drones offer zoom capabilities. Experiment with zoom to reveal hidden details or capture sweeping landscapes. That's what you did earlier, Brian, when you were showing the pictures of the oil derricks.
Yeah, yeah. But doing reveal shots here in Houston, yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
and
Not unless you're downtown.
a lot of those things you just mentioned, they're more video centric than they were photo centric.
And it's another thing you just mentioned, Bill, too, about well, bringing everything together. I have yet, and that is a bucket list for me, is to be able to fly somewhere where there's mountains.
Right.
To me, the first few times will be the equivalent of being out over water, because there your depth perception is gonna start messing with things. So I don't know how I'm going to handle that at any given time.
Or cliffs.
Yeah, and exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
That
let's
I
would
don't
be a
talk
have
dream
I don't have a
location.
backyard.
whole. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of mountain experience. I've flown in the Caribbean, with mountains and cliffs or whatever, and yeah, it is a little different. I just was real careful, didn't get too close to anything, but I would like to, you would like to get more experience with that type of flying. Yeah, basically, when I'm just going out to get photos or whatever, I mean, I don't really have any particular technique outside of just, moving the drone around enough to find the perfect angle and the perfect height to capture the best light my subject. Uh,
One of the things you mentioned along those same lines, Ron, is talk about angles. The newer drones, Mini 4, Air 3S, all of them, 60 degrees and up. You can get a different perspective getting a couple hundred feet in the air of
mhm.
an object that's taller than that looking straight up, and it's a pretty
Yep.
cool effect.
Yeah,
It's
with the,
almost
with the way the camera can go up in the, like I said, the Mini 4 Pro or the Mini 3 Pro. Yeah, it does give you a whole different angle than you're used to with your older drones or just standard drones.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or do a vertical pano
right,
from
right.
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Though, did you see that a couple of people made videos like this? I watched Billy Kyle's, but Billy said he never shoots like vertical, whatever. He always takes everything in the regular video and just crops in because he's as a somebody that makes a living off it. He's saying sometimes the clients want a regular, I'll say a 60 by 9 photo, so if he only does a vertical, he doesn't have that other either picture or video that present to maybe a different client or whatever. So he would, and he thinks the resolution he loses by cropping in really doesn't. It doesn't really hurt that much. It doesn't hurt as much as not having the regular photo for somebody who wants that.
You
He's
know,
being efficient.
you, you brought up a good point too, Ron, because that's another thing. Because of social media, in my mind, when I'm flying and especially shooting video, I'm thinking about two things: what's it going to look in 9 by 16, and what's it going to
Mhm.
look on Instagram. So what it's taught me to do is whatever I'm shooting, it in the center, because that way, if you need to crop, it's there. Whereas if you got and POIs are the worst. When you're doing a circle around a building manually, you're going to slip off the center. So I've come to do the automated one. It's a little bit better. But when you slip off center, it looks like garbage on Instagram,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
don't use that format as much, but I do use it. And I much prefer the wide angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think old school. I mean, I come from old school film photography. So, you're shooting anything. In the old days, well, film you didn't shoot too many extra photos, but you shoot one, like this, and then you turn the camera around and get the other one, so you have both over. And with the Mini 4 Pro, you could easily, but I just forget just to do both shots right when
Yep.
you're there.
Yeah, well, that's what the grid lines are for, right? It reminds you that if you do want a vertical shot or a squared up shot, use the grid lines on
The
those.
center, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
But
yeah, I wish if they said Instagram is no more tomorrow, I'm good with it.
or what if they just said Instagram got just getting rid of vertical?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, or there's two Instagram now. An old folks Instagram with regular photo and videos, and a younger person's one with vertical.
Yeah, but now you got to turn your phone sideways for the other one to work.
I've discovered my
Yeah,
wife did something smart though, because they're basically the same company now. She default posts from Facebook to Instagram. So if she puts it on Facebook, it automatically gets posted on
yeah,
Instagram.
I do
And
that
and
too.
and threads.
Yeah,
maybe. I
threads.
don't know if
Yeah,
she does.
you
I
have to
don't
go
think she
all over the
has
place.
threads, but maybe they've
But
invented
if you
one
did,
for her.
you can post to both. I think
If you have a Facebook
from the
account, it's
phone
real.
from the
Yeah,
phone.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, if you have a Facebook account, it's real easy to have a Threads account. You don't have to really do any sign up. You just go over and give them
Yeah,
your
it's like
Facebook credentials.
here. Okay, so here it is. I'm gonna put it up here. See now, what is it I'm making?
Oh, you're 3D printing again.
Yes, and it should be done right at the end of the show.
Oh, you got timed again.
A
Hey, can I?
mouse pad? Is that a mouse pad that you're making?
No,
Hey,
not
Bill,
right now.
you want some breaking news, Bill?
Yes, breaking news.
Johnny Drone Fire 3D printer, the one that you and Billy Kyler kind of recommended, it stopped working. So Johnny ordered a bamboo and it's coming tomorrow.
Ooh, which bamboo did he order? I don't know which one did he order.
One it's like 300 and some change.
Oh, so maybe the little A1 Mini.
Could be, he says about 300. Johnny doesn't do a ton of 3D printing, but he likes it, but he doesn't do a ton of it. So
Oh
he
wait,
doesn't need the top of the line.
where is he? Oh, here he is.
I want to
I did
apologize
like
to the
everybody
chat. I
else
can't
did.
multitask.
Of course,
Sorry.
I my benchy, and then see, I actually did one of the dragons, the articulated dragons.
Oh wow.
So,
God, my cat love that stuff.
huh? You
My
can't what?
cat love that thing. Put that on the end of a string, it's chaos.
Oh,
Probably
I
wouldn't
haven't
last
ever
very
done that to
long.
my dogs. Probably a good idea. And I made
Jim's Drawing says he has the A1.
Oh,
and
wow.
then, but now, I made her this little like art. It was an articulated heart, dude, for Valentine's. And what I'm printing now is supposed to be the articulated rose.
Oh wow.
Yeah, let me do this. I'll show you what it looks like. They must have just got the first layer done.
There's a lot of 3D printing talk going on now.
More so than because I have a 3D printer. But it's always cool to break the monotony with squirrel madness. Yeah, so here I can show
Well,
you.
Bill, maybe if they do ban drones, you can print me up a Mavic 4 on your 3D printer.
Yeah, really.
I
Well,
cannot believe
one thing
nobody's
I did
done that.
notice that there's a lot of oh, Jim has the same one as me. He's got the X1C, and I don't know why. Like, but the X1C is like a Mavic 3 Pro right now. So
Okay.
it's like their top of the line
Okay.
printer. But they had a great deal during Christmas. So and especially when I was like, "But baby, you and the kids can get it for me." You know, and she's like, "Yeah, okay." So, but she's having difficulty collecting now that it's after the holidays.
Well, that's like
Okay, Mom, I'll send you that money over soon. Yeah.
that's
What's
like
that bank account again? Okay.
every year my wife and I go through. What are you going to get each other? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? I said, well, there's a new drone coming out. She
Yeah,
goes,
yeah, and my wife would just do one of these.
how much is it? And I gave her the low ball price, which
The little.
okay, I can do half that.
I
So
really and truthfully think that the Mavic 4 Pro and the Mavic 4 Pro Cine, I bet you we don't see base models anymore, not right off the bat, because especially now, because they're gonna and they might come out with like a Mavic 4, 3 months later. But I'm figuring, like I said, I've already predicted what I say, March 18th. I think it's a Tuesday. I'm still predicting March
Shut up,
18th.
Alexa. Shut up, Alexa. You said something that got Alexa going, Bill. Shut up, Alexa. Cancel. You somehow got her going there.
Alexa, order a.
Because I said,
Alexa, play Aiden's Grunge.
and mine's not doing anything. She's just sitting over here.
I told Alexa to order Alex a Mavic 4.
Nope, didn't do a thing.
Well, mine turns on out here.
Oh God, that's like
Alexa,
we're gonna have an entire show of Squirrel Madness one night, and we're gonna do weird stuff like, okay, try to kick my Alexa off,
Alexa,
Like,
stop.
okay,
I'll be right back.
okay.
Hey, good world, yeah.
We yeah, don't get us taken down.
Get what taken
Uh-oh.
down? Oh, we're not allowed to say that word?
What's that?
Hey, Brian, you're going to be proud of me. Off topic, I got a Ace Pro
There
too.
is that is the best camera. Well, I take that back. DJI, the 5 is equal to it. I can't see the difference between either one.
Well, I used this last night for the first time in real low light, and it was good, but it wasn't much better than my iPhone 16 Pro. I had used both of them, and maybe this was a hair better, but it may have had more noise than the 16 Pro.
Yeah. No, I love mine in low light.
What was that? What was that, Ron?
The Insta360 Ace Pro 2, and this is not a 360 camera. This is just like a standard
It's an
action
action
camera,
camera.
but it hangs its hat on being good at low light.
Ah, and you think it's as good as the 5? Oh wow.
Well, no,
Mhm.
in low light, but the 5 has many more. The 5 can do 10-bit
See, there he
color,
is.
can do D-Log M. It's got a lot of things, pro
Look,
features
looky,
this doesn't have.
look at that. There he is.
Oh, beautiful!
Yeah, we'll see how it
Yeah,
comes out.
beautiful.
We'll see how it comes out.
Is that your creation or?
No, 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 no. I'm still learning all that.
Hey, Chuck's in.
Chuck
Yeah,
says the
he's
Active 5
saying
Pro with
what?
the wireless mic is untouchable by GP or
What
GoPro.
about GoPro?
Yeah, and
But
No,
of
yeah,
course,
they're trying to say Insta360 is better.
no, I'm not saying
not
it's
for
better. I'm saying
audio
it's equal to.
purposes.
They're about the same.
DJI, is that like Gojira? DJI.
GGI is not banned, so I buy their stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Not yet.
Oh, he's saying the Ace Pro 2 is better.
Not for
Yeah.
audio.
Oh, really? For
Well,
audio, what about? But they're saying he's
because
saying that it's not better than the 5
it'll
in low
work
light.
with a wireless mic, but it won't work as well. I mean, it's just not as good if you pair the wireless
One
mic
thing I've
behind it.
noticed: action cameras very rarely will take actual photographs worth of shit.
Oh, the new ones do okay. They take I don't know, they take okay photos. I mean, I wouldn't shoot a wedding with one, but they do okay at the photos.
All right, so back onto
Get
the
back
fun
on track.
subject, the fun subject at hand. Stay aware of laws and privacy. Flight restrictions. Always check the local drone regulations, including no-fly zones, altitude limits, and airspace rules. Respecting privacy and avoiding flying over people or restricted areas is essential. Insurance. Depending upon your location and the type of photography you do, it might be wise to have drone insurance in case of accidents or damage.
Especially if you're doing commercial work.
Yep, yep.
You're flying over
Marcel, what's up, buddy?
untraceable.
We're talking about photography tonight and different aspects and ways of taking unforgettable or let's see, look, photography in unforgettable locations. Yes.
Yeah. Basically, all the rules you read apply to video as well as photo. So it's
Yeah,
no
pretty
different.
much.
It's no different. And of course, now we don't have to worry about DJI geofencing anymore. Thank goodness. So that's the thing of the well, it still warns you. I mean, people, it's not gone. It's still there. It warns you you're in a restricted area or area you shouldn't fly, but it doesn't prevent you from doing it anymore.
Well, we were talking about Mikey earlier, Chuck,
Yeah.
and about how Mikey had to take down his channel. He's not allowed to have a channel called Philly Drone Life anymore. He can't fly a drone again as long as he lives. He can't get a license to fly a drone as long as he lives. He basically, if he mentions drone, I
Yeah.
don't know, he's gonna apocalypse is gonna happen.
Right. But yet the Super Scooper guy outside of paying his 56,000, it doesn't sound like much else happened.
Yeah, he bought his way out of jail.
Yeah, I don't think he got lifetime ban on drone. He didn't have to take a YouTube channel. I don't know if he has one, but I mean, yeah, he did.
Thanks, John. Have a
Yeah.
good one. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good night, John.
John takes some good pictures too.
He does.
John takes
He
beautiful
does.
pictures.
And beautiful video.
Yes.
You showed a California Ranger, your Mini 3 Pro in LA. Okay.
Oh, okay. Recently, after the Super Scooper crash.
Yeah, yeah. That's how they knew which one it was.
Yeah. Well, how do you guys deal with flight restrictions and so on for your drone photography work? Alex, do you hit a lot of no-fly areas down around Miami?
Not so much no fly areas, but restricted. So, but I don't fly very high anyway, so I get Lance approval like this for
So if you only
everything.
want 100, 200 feet, there's no problem.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's for me. It's a non-issue because I again I don't need to go 390 feet or for a lot of the stuff that I like to shoot.
And you have a major international airport, of course, in some part of the city. Is that anywhere near you?
Oh yeah, it's in the heart of the city, but where I fly is east of it,
Okay.
and it is in the path, but where I fly is below the skyline,
Yeah.
so I'm lower than
The highest buildings. Yeah.
yeah than the
Yeah.
highest buildings.
Yeah. And Brian, you also have a major airport,
Well,
international airport in Houston.
yeah, I mean it's far enough away. It's not a factor from the downtown area. My biggest issue is Galveston. Galveston has an airport, and it's an international airport, but it's still a medium-sized airport. But it's on the west side of the island. There's nothing really over there. I mean, there's Moody Gardens to photograph, but whatever. You can still get land clearance. The west side, though, is where I like to shoot. That's where the cruise ships leave out of.
Right.
But there is this one goofball who has a helicopter tour that goes up anytime he's got a customer, and he has no problem coming in at you at 100 to 150 feet.
Oh no.
Oh yes. So I'm always listening for that helicopter.
Because you could come in unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just got one of the smallest lawnmower engine type helicopters you can have. It only takes up two people at a time and him, but it will get in the way. And all you can do is duck. And I've been chasing cruise ships, and he's been out there. And okay, it's like, okay, should I bring it in or should I just go low? Okay, I'll go low. So I'm below. I'm like even with the main deck, and he's right above me, literally.
Wow.
Okay, time to bring it in.
Wow. Yeah, I'm lucky. Of course, I basically live on the beach, and I have the Coast Guard helicopters, but they generally always fly the same pattern, so I know where they're going to be.
Yep. Yeah, but this
So
guy's a real hot dog. It's challenging to say the least.
you got a real cowboy out there, huh?
Yeah. Most times he will stay above 400. Sometimes he doesn't. No, a lot of times he doesn't.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, duck.
Yeah, I know. I stayed in Galveston a few years ago after one of the meetups, and my hotel was actually in the no fly.
Yeah, yeah.
The
A lot of
not.
them are.
I had to drive, a couple miles either direction to get out of it.
And Ron, if you ever come down here again, boy, you need to give me a little bit of a heads up.
Yeah. It was after I forget. I think it was after I forget which meetup or
It was a couple of
whatever.
years ago.
Yeah, and I think you were out there like a day or two before I got there.
Yep.
So I'd
I
love
try
to
to
get
go
back.
now. I
Yeah,
try to go now once a month. Just
yeah. It's a beautiful area.
it is.
Anybody's Alex and Bill, if you ever get a chance to get over to Galveston, it's really something to see. I was right on what do they call that seawall? I was right on that kind of wall where you
Hmm.
go down, the beach is down below it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going, Bill. I'm going a little squirrel here. If you like seafood, like if you like say that New Orleans style gumbo and shrimp and whatever, it tastes just the same in Galveston. Galveston has some of the best seafood you'll ever get your hands on.
Yep.
Hmm.
Bill, we're not lip
If you
readers.
like that kind of New Orleans, Louisiana style
I'd probably melt in Galveston though, Ron. My other gig is Frosty the Snowman. And look at my complexion. I'm really wanting to go to the South Florida drone meetup. Can't this year because the wife's having knee replacement surgery. But hopefully next year I can do it. But I don't know. Me and heat don't get along good. That's why
Alex,
I came
tell
out
Bill
here.
at the beginning of April the weather's perfect. I mean,
It's awesome.
it's like about maybe a high of 80 or whatever. The nights maybe dip down into the 60s. That time of year, the Florida heat hasn't arrived yet.
Right,
Okay.
right.
It's still someplace else. It's still in
Hey,
Houston or something.
Sometimes it can be windy though. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Number
really.
seven.
The breeze, yeah.
Number 7, Ron, you kind of mentioned some of this earlier. Post processing your photos. Enhance colors. After capturing your images, consider using editing software to boost the vibrancy or correct colors. Drones often capture, where'd I go? Great detail, but can benefit from slight color adjustments. Remove distortions. Some drones can cause lens distortions, especially around the edges of the frame. Use software like Lighthouse or Photoshop to correct this. HDR photography. If your drone supports HDR, high dynamic range, use it to capture images with greater detail in both bright and dark areas.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point.
Did that really say lighthouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Let's see.
Lightroom.
Yeah,
I said Lightroom, yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't know.
Lighthouse is pretty good too. That's a good
Yeah,
added
it's
too.
free.
One of the big decisions you have to make once you've managed the drone, you're taking pictures. Do I shoot RAW or do I shoot JPEG or do I shoot both? Because a lot of the stuff Bill mentioned just a few minutes ago or seconds ago, you could do more of that if you shoot RAW because at that point you have a lot of control over how you can stretch things in a photo. Basically, if you shoot RAW, the one thing you got to nail is the focus. You can't do
Yeah.
anything about a photo's out of focus, but otherwise, if you shoot RAW, you could correct a lot of problems. Alex, do you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah. Even I like to shoot slightly underexposed always.
Mm-hmm.
You can always
Um,
bring it up. Yep.
He's
so
got hands.
And tell them why, Alex, because it's much easier to bring up the shadows than it is to bring down the highlights.
yeah, because yeah, basically because it starts to pixelate and all that stuff if you do the other way
Yeah, you
around.
don't want to blow those highlights out,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not, or if you do blow them out, as little as possible. Brian, do you shoot raw a lot, or
I shoot both,
yeah?
and what I do is because of the uh, quad bear factoring in a lot of the drones now, I will go through the raw photos, pick out the ones I like, enhance them, keep all my JPEGs, but everything else, all the raws got to go because I mean those things really start to chew your storage space as bad as
Good
video
point.
will.
Good point. Yep, that take up a lot of room, and that's a
Yep.
good point. Clean out all those raws you don't need.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find something
Actually, once I get the raw perfected, I'll save it as a JPEG anyways. Lots of times, as a high res JPEG.
See, he's got hands now. Look, he's got
Oh, yeah,
hands.
make the project.
And he's got part of his legs. Hey, what's up, Herman? We're making something while we're
Yeah,
talking
hello,
about
Herman.
photography.
Herman's a good drone photographer too. What go around the panel here? What is your editor of choice for photos, Brian?
mostly Lightroom,
I was gonna
Maybe like
say,
room.
unless
not Photoshop.
the only time I'll start pulling in Luminar is when I want to change the sky. When you have
Right,
too much of a blue sky, no clouds, I'm gonna add some clouds.
yeah, you gotta change that, and it's so easy in
Oh yeah.
Luminar.
I'm with you, Brian.
Alex, what's your editor of choice there for your drone?
My go to is Lightroom, and then I might just for the saturation, I'll go to the Luminar Neo,
Hmm.
and sometimes I'll work off the app on the phone. Believe it or not,
The
the
Lightroom app on the phone.
the Lightroom, the PS Express is a very good tool.
Well,
Um,
even the regular Lightroom mobile app, the change you make to the phone will sync back to your desktop version.
This
yes.
photo is. Let me get off that. This photo is the what came right out of the camera on that given night down in Galveston, and this is
Hmm.
what Lightroom will do for you.
Oh
Yep.
wow, you really popped
Now,
the
and
colors.
all you're doing is, and believe it or not, I just brought the vibrancy up just a little bit. Did
Hmm.
not mess with saturation at all. And what's the other one? It's not even.
So I'm going to stop you there. Vibrancy is a much more powerful tool than
Yeah,
saturation.
I
But
mean,
deep up in the blues, it looks archived to me. Is that wrong, or is that just what's coming through on the internet?
The blues.
It might be
Yeah.
through the internet. Yeah.
They see that's my problem. I love to overjuice stuff. I think it's because I saw Jerry too many times. But
Well,
because
that's
I
your style.
always like to
That's your
over
style, though.
enhance my
It's
stuff.
nothing wrong with overjuicing.
I was
If
like,
that's your
look
style,
at
that's your
the
style.
pretty colors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, there's two mindsets too from the viewer. Some people like to see color, and some people like to see exactly the way everything is in real life, and or the realism. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I like to add color because hey, I grew up in Chicago and it was very gray,
especially in the
and
winter.
yeah, so when coming down here, the
I,
colors have to
I,
pop.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I vote for color too. You can't have too much color.
Yeah.
Something else too, when you talk about vibrancy, the reason why I do like to tweak the
She's in the
vibrancy.
land of twilight. No, seriously, look, she's in Port Angeles.
And
Yeah,
it's
That's
melting
where she went
snow.
and bought the book.
wow.
The book.
You're not a Twilight head, obviously. All right. Be safe, Stacy. Thank you for coming in.
No, the thing about vibrancy is that always echoes in my mind is that people who have died and been brought back. That's one of the things they always describe as how vibrant everything is. So I'm just trying to show people what to look forward to.
And guys, with tool like Lightroom, they have all those. What do they call those? Where you can just take part of. I can't think of the buzzword. You could just take part of a photo and add the vibrancy there, and not to the whole photo. What word am I looking for, Alex?
It's on.
PS Express does that. It analyzes the photo and
Yeah.
already separates the mask, and you choose the mask.
Yeah, the mask.
Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
you can mask out just certain areas to get vibrancy, or you could just mask certain areas out, like the water, and make the water bluer. So
And you can do that in Luminar too in sections.
yep, yep. They all have
Yeah,
that great masking, and like
And
Alex,
the keyword is
they have AI masking now. Yeah,
yeah.
Chuck, thanks for. I couldn't spit the word masking out. I'm not sponsored by
well,
Lightroom.
something cool about Luminar is its AI and its
Yep,
ability to pull out different subject matter so that you can just automatically mask out what you want.
yep.
Simply, it might be say,
Well, it like identifies the water, the sky, the ground, the grass
It has
for
a
you.
very decent denoise too.
Yes,
Topaz is
yes,
tops, but
yeah,
Luminar is pretty good at denoise as well.
right. I'm going to need that for that Ace Pro 2 footage I shot last night,
something I've
Alex.
noticed though is all of them have difficulty with certain kinds of background removal.
Oh yeah,
You can put some in and they'll get it, they'll nail it, and then you put a different photo in and you'll be like, oh, how the hell am I going to clean that up?
yep, yep, yep.
And that's
Exactly. Whenever somebody says to me, "Can you Photoshop that out?" I said, "Well, as long as it's not tied to something else in the background."
Yeah, then you really do have to go to Photoshop
Yeah,
yep.
you gotta brush up.
and
You gotta
blow it
brush
up
up
on your
your
monitor in a little bit
yeah.
at
You
a
gotta brush
time.
up on your skills. You might as well farm that job out.
Yeah.
Okay, Chuck's been playing with DaVinci way too much. I have no idea how to do masking in DaVinci, and I play with DaVinci.
Yeah, yeah.
I have,
I haven't played with
I need
DaVinci in
to.
years.
Uh,
Y'all gonna slap me. I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. I have yet to fly in 2025.
I flew. I didn't until about the last week. I flew twice in
what?
the last week. I hadn't flown until in the last 2 weeks. I flew, and they were two jobs. It wasn't even pleasure flying. I flew two jobs in the course of like 5 days, and that's been it for me.
That's what my wife says sometimes. Okay, baby, put the magic mask on and come in. You can massage it out.
And if I go 2 or 3 days, I start getting the shakes. I gotta fly.
Well, you have a little bit different weather climate than I do, Brian.
Yeah, that's true.
I've had because there's a bunch of stuff on our minds. Like I've just got done with my hernia operations. My wife is ready to go have not one but dual knee replacement surgery,
Ooh,
and right about the time that they're gonna have the South Florida drone meetup. So
yeah.
she's gonna have it done in the end of this month. So she'll be laid up for at least 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm not going
Wow.
anywhere for a while. I got to actually be responsible for 2 months. Anyway,
When I
It
get to
happens.
Florida for the meetup, I'll do more flying down there than I will have done all year to that point.
well,
Uh, yeah.
I have Angel. I have Angel I could go fly with and go down that way and do stuff with. I just can't get my ducks in a row to get it done.
Um,
Thank you for coming in, Barkley.
Al's going to take me to that lighthouse he goes to in South Florida. What's that name of that lighthouse that sits out in the kind of like point there?
The black and white one. That's
Is that
Hillsboro.
Hillsborough? He's going to take me to. I've never been to Hillsborough.
I've never been there. Al is going to take us.
So you're gonna come that day too. Good. We'll make it where we can both hit up.
I'll do my best.
And I know there was
It's
one
going to be
down
early
there
in the
that-
morning, so
Yeah,
There was one down there that
I'm good at
Dan
any
used to
time.
go to all the time, but drones are banned there now, I think.
Where's that?
Down in Florida, remember Dan used to go fly at a lighthouse down there? And I think that was because of that, people started going and flying. I think drones got banned or something. It might be like a city park or something.
West Coast then.
It's in Florida. You know,
Yeah, but
Dan
on the
Sampson.
West Coast or the East Coast.
Drone worship.
Where are
Drone
you?
worship.
Yeah.
You know, that guy. And actually he said he made another drone flying channel. I can't remember if I've signed up or not, but I'll ask him about it.
Florida Drone Life.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
That's
I know he started a new
joke.
one.
That's a
I
joke.
may be a member. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Don't get mad, Dan.
Well, Hillsborough, Al has to get permission because it's somewhat restricted, and you can only go to a certain height.
Yeah. There's
Hey,
been a
okay,
couple of
yeah,
times he got
I gotta-
lucky
I
and he
don't-
got authorization
I'm
for
going to
over
do
three-
squirrel
over
something,
300.
and I'll be right back. I'll be squirrel.
I've never gone to the big guitar. Have you, Alex?
Yeah, I was just there about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks
Okay.
ago.
And
Yeah, that's in Hollywood.
That's where Al and Ken got busted last year, right, for flying there.
Well, busted is a
By the
big
security-
word.
by
They
the
got
security
called
guard.
out by a security guard,
Yeah.
and that's why Al runs around with the cop cam,
Yeah,
and he has it recording.
Yeah,
So if anybody
Yeah.
approaches,
yeah.
he captures how it started.
But a lot of guys got some great footage at that guitar.
Yeah,
Hard Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a group of 5, 6 of us a few weeks ago. That was my first time. Those guys fly it, regularly. Like
Yeah,
when I say
yeah.
regularly, every month or what have you,
Yeah.
or every 2 months. But yeah, that was my first time. It's impressive to see this large building with all these lights, RGBs, and
How far is that for you to get up there? A couple hour?
it's probably no. The guitar that's in Hollywood. That's not a bad ride. That's like 40 minutes for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hillsborough, Jupiter, the South Florida drum meter, all that is like, an hour, 45 minutes to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I've discovered something new.
Yeah.
How many of you remember Life Cereal? Of course. Hey, let's get Mikey to try it. You remember Mikey? You know.
Mikey likes it.
Yes. Well, this is something new, especially for older people that have like osteoporosis and stuff like that with problems with their bones. Now they have Mighty Life, which supports healthy bones. And it's some of the best stuff, I swear. And there's this one, very vanilla. And then there's also
Is it the same cereal and they just rename it or what?
no, it's actually fortified and it tastes a lot better, but it tastes kind of like cardboard, but not as bad. So it's good for you. And this one is actually called Strawberry Blueberry Bliss.
Cool.
But it has a lot less sugars in it.
Oh, good.
It has a lot of you don't get the high fructose corn syrup in it.
Getting
It's
healthy.
actually sugar. Yeah, all right, man.
I'm old school.
Sugar.
Hey, just to finish up on the Eddie topic, and I'll let Bill move on. We talked about raws and shooting the low light. When I do a lot of these real estate jobs, I go in the middle of the day because these houses you don't want shadows or whatever, so you go when the sun's coming down. So the light's so good most of the time. I shoot JPEG. And like I just get I go old school. I get them right in the camera, so there's no editing. I just shoot a whole bunch of JPEGs, throw out the ones that don't look good, and lots of times I don't do anything. Or in Lightroom, I'll hit that auto button, and that's it or whatever. Because again, I'm not shooting fine art here. It's just a real estate shot. The realtor wouldn't know if I put enhanced the saturation or did any of that or whatever. As long as it's well lit and the photos in focus, you're good.
Well, I can hear it now. I thought the house would look prettier blue than it is. It doesn't look that good. Not in real life.
That's another reason to do shoot JPEG and not do much editing, because you want a realistic example of
Yep,
what the property is. Again, we may be shooting fine art at sunset, but the realtor doesn't want fine art. They want
they want
realistic.
what it actually
Unless
looks
it's a
like.
dump, then maybe they want some fixing up. But Bill, that's all I got to say about editing. Any more topics?
Yeah, we got plenty more. I got at least two more.
Go ahead. Go. We
At
got
least two
16
more.
minutes to go, Bill.
The number 8, safety first.
Oh.
Stay aware of your surroundings. Always maintain visual contact with your drone. Use a spotter to help if necessary. Avoid obstacles. Flying over cliffs, trees, and buildings can be risky. Make sure you have a clear line of sight and enough space to maneuver safely. Respect nature. In natural locations, make sure your drone doesn't disturb wildlife or the environment.
I know, Brian, you've got the Air 3S recently, and I've been flying it for a couple of months now. I know, that's one of the safest drones you have up there because of the optical avoidance, the lidar, the cameras that see out the side now. There's a lot of safety equipment built in there that help a pilot, keep safe and safe. But I don't see what you guys say. What I do is, before I even take the drone off, I kind of walk around and do a visual inspection of the area, making sure I see all the power lines, all the tall trees, any building or structure that may be taller than the rest of the skyline. So I know all that in advance before I even take the drone off. I know where the trouble areas could be at.
Yeah, a lot of radio towers can go well over 400 feet. You really need to be mindful of those too. And if they're guide, because if they're guide now, they instead of just one
Yeah,
tall
those.
structure, you've got it coming out for an acre, half of an acre around you. You always got to be mindful of that. And especially if you're flying in an area that you haven't flown before, always look around to see what the tallest object is. Put your drone up right above you and just kind of center your gimbal and get an idea of the height of that object, so you know, okay, that thing's at 110 feet. I need to be no lower than 125,
Mhm.
just so you don't hit it.
I have a lot of water towers,
Yeah.
around me on the East Coast here. So the water towers, just like you said about yours, those water towers can go up to 400 feet sometimes.
Yep.
So, Alex,
Oh, mine can go worse.
what's kind of your pre-check before you take off?
Well, since I don't fly too many new places, so I'm kind of already aware of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And given that I do more photo taking than video, it's pretty much send it up and move over a little bit, take the shot, move, get another angle, take the shot. So I'm not moving constantly.
Good
So,
point. Good point.
but for video, yeah, I would have to scope out the area, but it's rare.
And that's
Mhm.
another thing too. When you are flying for video, and if you're flying laterally, you better know what's on your sides,
Yeah.
because you're not looking at that. You're looking in front of you. The drone's moving to the left at 20, 30 miles an hour. You better know what's out there.
Especially wires that your optical avoidance sensors may not see.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you guys have the Air 3S now, so you guys don't have to trust the technology.
Well,
Not me.
we don't have lidar on the sides. We only
Oh
have it in
no,
the front.
I
No,
don't they didn't they advertise that as 360?
yeah,
Like
it's got
Yeah, yeah,
360
yeah.
sensors.
But still, it doesn't have the extra advantage of lidar anywhere but the front. It just has your typical optical
I
one sensor,
honestly,
which could hit it a thin wire or a thin tree branch.
I don't trust any of those sensors for that, unless it's a
I
building.
don't I don't fully trust anything either.
Well,
Uh,
Why didn't
Lance
put the
would say,
lidar all
trust
around
the technology.
on the Mavic 4?
I guarantee it will.
Or that may be the
Maybe
Mavic 4.
5.
That may be the Mavic 4. That may be the Air 4S may have that.
Hey, Ron, do you
Front and
remember?
back.
Ron, do you remember a couple of shows back when I 3D printed that fidget spinner
I
and it
do.
didn't work? And it
Yes.
didn't work. Remember?
You perfected it now.
No, no, it's the same one. It works.
How did you fix it?
It well, it
WD-40.
yeah. No, where it didn't wasn't snapped loose in the middle, so I had to like pull the outer ring section to where it was loose and free, and
Okay.
then it's Been working ever since, and I've been spinning the hell out of it.
Oh wow! So you're getting a good bunch of good fidgeting in.
Yeah. So my wife comes in and she's upset with me, and she's like, "No." I'm like, "Yes, baby. Yeah. Yeah.
You take
Why
that
are they making
someplace.
some?"
You should take that someplace you have to wait in line or something like that or whatever. Do it
And
the
and
whole
and
time.
then you hold it right up behind her ear like this,
Yeah. There you go.
and then you notice that you proceed to the front of the line much more quickly
Yes.
until you get up to this guy that his shoulders are like 8 feet apart,
Oh, the
and you get up
bouncer.
in his ear and
Yeah.
you start going,
Yeah.
and then the next thing you know, you're sitting in a chair over in the corner.
Yeah. You get the Mr. T's at the front or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. That's what I said.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
I get over here? I lost 4 seconds.
Yeah. And where's my fidget? Oh, okay, Bill. What's the next one on the list? We
Wait a
got
minute. Wait a minute. What is it?
10
Talking.
minutes.
All right. Have a good one. You weren't talking to yourself.
Oh, we
We were
were we
all
were
listening to
we
you,
were
Chuck.
during this
We were
comment.
deliberately ignoring you, Chuck. It's you can talk.
We weren't. We were actually. If you didn't notice, they were talking about the same stuff you were talking about. Kurt saying bye. Brian saying
Bye,
bye.
Kurt.
I don't know. He was on the
Uh,
West
hey,
Coast last week.
Chuck and Lori put out a nice promo for their travel channel.
He was on the West Coast last week. Okay, here we are, number 9. We're coming into the home stretch here, and then be thinking about this ahead of time, gentlemen. What might be your streaming recommendations for this week's show?
Ooh.
Okay, anyway, number 9, make your shots unique. Play with perspective. One of the unique features of drone photography is that its ability to capture landscapes and architectural features from angles that aren't possible from the ground. Get creative and explore different perspectives. Use shadows and reflections. Shadows cast by the drone can create dramatic lines and textures on the ground. Reflections in bodies of water can also add beauty and symmetry to your shots. By combining technical knowledge, creativity, and understanding the environment you're shooting in, you'll be able to capture unforgettable aerial photographs. Take your time to experiment with your drone and refine your skills as you go.
And that's really what it boils down to is it's going to take practice. You
Yeah.
know,
And lots of pictures.
Yeah.
You know, the
And
biggest.
what you said about there getting different perspectives, I mean, that's why I got into drones really because I've been doing ground-based photography since I was about 20 years old. But I wanted to get perspectives on things that I never got before. Take a ground-based camera, you can stay in the hill or second floor of a building, but to get that angle, that you really see again, you see other people get, you need that drone. That's why I got into it in the first place to get the angles that you never had before. And Alex, you talked about going to the same place a lot. I do the same thing too. And when you're flying drones, it's hard to go back to the locations and get a shot you didn't get one of the other times you were there. That's always a challenge to create a new and interesting shot you've never gotten before. Do you
Yeah.
find the same thing?
Yes, absolutely. I remember shooting at a place called Vizcaya, which is like a mansion. It's like a landmark. Of course, we didn't fly from there, but the
Right.
neighboring property.
Right.
And most people like to take a shot from the bay, the ocean, at the mansion. Well, I decided to go and get all 4 sides, and they were popular. I guess people liked them because you can see the grounds because it has spectacular grounds. It really
Okay.
does. Um, and so ground, water, mansion. It was like all very cool perspective. Where most people just shoot it from the water in. I had the water in the background.
Right. Right.
here's a question along those same lines then, because this has happened to me more times than I can count. I will go out, shoot video, photos, come home, everything looks really good, and then you'll see that one picture or that one video, and you go, if I'd have done it just a little different, I've got to go back out there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. No matter how many shots you take, when you're reviewing your photos, you kind of always miss something. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Or you could do something even better.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
and-
I should have included more of that building in the shot. That sort of thing.
Yeah,
yeah. And you know, here's something. This is probably related to something Bill talked about tonight. You know, they always check your camera settings. When I was shooting a job the other day, like I thought I was in auto, but I was in manual because I was so worried about everything else. I didn't make sure I was in auto or whatever. So I had to pray. I hope my manual settings were right. Luckily, the manual settings didn't mess anything up or whatever. But I could have blew like a whole shoot by not making sure I was in auto when I expected to be in auto. I mean, if you're a manual, you better make sure you got the right settings. And just by luck, I was in the right settings.
which
Hmm.
never happens.
Well, I mean, again, it was a real estate shoot. It didn't have to be anything, you know, the real vanilla settings were fine. You know, I mean, as long as I didn't have, I don't know, the exposure way too low or way too high or
You
something
know,
like that. If you just had everything basically like, you know, right in the middle of general photo settings worked perfect for this shoot I had.
and another thing too is the FPV side of it.
Yes.
FPV. I was hanging out with Chris Open and Joe Fodolio over the weekend. They
Hmm.
both fly FPV, and it is just amazing to me now the quality of the cameras. And I'm not talking about the GoPros you can put on. Quality of the cameras that come on these FPV drones
Oh, the
is,
air units. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, with the DJI O3 and O4s, it's amazing. I mean, cinematic is easily done with an FPV drone now, and
Oh, yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, I have the Avata too, and you know I'm very happy with the camera. I've even snapped some photos with the Avata too,
Oh
and
yeah,
outside of they're kind of crooked or whatever, which you can fix and
yeah,
post or whatever. They don't look bad.
and they're really wide. Because
Yeah.
Well,
So,
it is
well,
the
that's good
Action
if you're
4 camera,
close to
right?
something. Sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
It's the Action 4 camera on that Avata 2, right?
Yes, that's what.
yeah,
Yeah,
One
that's
of
what you said. Yeah.
DJI's favorite sensors,
one
1/1.3.
And remember though, that's a better sensor for FPV though than putting in like a 1 inch or something. You know, that's the perfect sensor for
a
that
one
type
inch
of
is going to
drone.
get way too much blur
Yeah.
out of that much speed. So yeah, it makes all the sense for that.
Yeah, you don't want anything that's gonna you don't want any depth of field in an FPV drone. You don't want any bokeh or blur or whatever. You want everything in focus.
7 minutes. Oh, he's getting close.
How's our printing job coming, Bill?
Yeah, he's getting there. He's getting there. He's
Oh
got
look,
feet, he's got hands,
he's got a
and his
bottom.
pedals are in the works.
I like that color.
Well, it's like I said, it was either the purpley or the red again, and I've already made her a red heart. So
Bill, does the Bamboo printer have a built-in camera in there that you're streaming from?
yeah,
Wow, that's cool.
yep.
Oh,
Must be
cool.
the babysitting camera.
Hey, Bill, how's our video contest coming along where we're gonna
I
build that
have,
video?
I still have one submission.
Oh, I gotta get my submission in. And how long is that submission period?
Well, since I'm probably going to be staying here over the next, probably, let's see, when is spring? March?
Yeah, March 21st.
Yeah, so we'll say March 21st.
Okay. Did you
Or
hear,
wait a
Brian?
minute,
We're doing
wait a
another
minute,
thing.
wait a minute,
We're
let me
gonna merge
see.
a bunch of
See.
short videos together again.
Let me see. Let me see. So the 21st is a Friday. So we
Okay.
will say March 26th. So that gives people holiday light videos if they want to submit. If they got weather videos like snow, rain, whatever, if they want to submit.
Brian's
And
got
then,
snow videos.
and then
We got snow.
plus we'll also have, some early spring videos where stuff's starting to get decent again, maybe some sunset or something like that. And again, the plan is to feed it into Filmora and let Filmora spit it out the other side again like we did before.
And what is it? Is 1080? Is it
1080p,
1080?
30 frames per second.
Shorter than a minute.
You can do no longer than 30-second clips. You're
30
welcome to
seconds.
send in multiple 30-second clips if you would like.
But aren't 5 to 6 second clips the premium?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what.
And
Right.
you want about a minute of them? Man,
The
I'm not
bad
sure.
thing, yeah. See that now. The reason I'm saying 30 seconds is if everybody starts sending in only their 5 or 6 seconds, then they're going to be like, well, why didn't it have all of my clip in there? And then it had, and then so I'm just kind of telling everybody now, like we did the last time, we actually went back and moved it around a little bit. And the cool thing is this time is since I have the Filmora for the yearly plan, not only can we have it create the video, but we can also have it create a music soundtrack through AI as well.
And the
So
music
it will
soundtrack
actually,
won't get us in trouble. It'll be
No.
license free.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it'll be complete.
Okay.
Yeah, like here, let me show you this real quick. Let me pull. Let me
yeah.
go ahead and stop
Filmora's
share.
gotten really good on their audio. I'm fixing to drop Epidemic.
Wow.
I've been using more Filmora than I have Epidemic lately.
Here
Wow.
you go. Here you go. Let me do this. Done. Let me see. That soundtrack was made by Filmora.
AI, right? That's an AI.
No, I fiddled with this, the original, the evolution thing with the lightning thing. Yes, that's all AI. That's me. So
Pretty
yeah, I thought
cool.
that was.
Yeah.
But that soundtrack and everything was AI.
Cool.
That
Okay.
it came up with was all AI. But the video, the little section, what I did was, like the cloud burst or the smoke coming out of it. I added that. The AI that originally made it, I can't remember what I told it, but because I made a new logo for this year, so it took that and kind of evolved it. But I didn't like the way it came out, so I made it go backwards and then evolve into the drone therapy sign.
Nice.
I figured I'd play it the other way, maybe if I use it as a closer or something. You made, let's see, he made some silk rose golden filaments. Oh, yeah, that sounds cool.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Ron, do you have a streaming recommendation for this week?
Skip me for a second. I had something, but I got to pull it out of the back of my mind.
Ah, okay. Do Alex or Brian, have you watched anything recently on streaming that you would like to share?
I'm old and I can't remember.
No, there was a movie on Netflix which I didn't watch through Netflix. Um, called Carry On. I thought that was a good movie, but I don't watch much TV much.
Same
We
here.
we
I've
don't
been
watch
watching
any.
hockey a lot.
We don't watch network television. We tend to stream most of everything that we take in.
Hey, if we're going to talk Netflix just for a second, I watched one of the weirdest movies the other night, and I didn't quite know what to expect, and it was disturbing to say the least. It's called The Menu. Stay away from that
Menu.
movie.
Yeah, that's a trippy movie, man.
Oh, I didn't see the
That is
menu.
definitely a trippy movie. So now he's already told everybody, now stay away from the menu.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone to Netflix and started pulling up the menu. Yeah, you're gonna flip, man, and it's gonna.
Add it
It's
to my
it's
list.
it's. I don't know. I think it's along like Clockwork Orange, that kind of
Well,
twisted, kind of. You don't
I was
think?
thinking more of that fruitcake that lost his mind every time he did the chef show when somebody dropped something or burned something. I'm just going, no, this is way past that.
Bill, I thought of mine.
Okay, go for it, Ron.
Paradise. It's a first season show on Hulu, and it's about
Oh, yeah.
the president gets shot in the first episode, and the Secret Service is there, but you find out that they're living underground. Some kind of a natural, say, climate event has forced them underground. But this scientist woman created this thing where it looks like they're outdoors when they're inside this cave underground or whatever. But you don't know who's killed the president or why. And it's only I think I watched 3 episodes. The fourth one just premiered yesterday.
That's the
So
one where James Marsden was the president, right?
yes, that you got it. You
Yep,
got it.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's
Hulu.
been watching it too.
Hulu.
Yep, on Hulu. Well, here's mine, and I'm going to talk it just kind of stuck in my head the other day, and it made me really want to watch this movie. And after watching it again, I'm really glad that I rewatched it. And they actually have all three of the trilogy on HBO Max. If you have Max, you can watch it there. I watched The Dark Knight
Oh wow,
with
wow.
and Heath Ledger is just so incredible all the way through that movie.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's just he is like everybody else is just watching him perform. And to this day, I mean, and don't get me
That
wrong,
may be the best Batman movie ever.
yeah, it may very well
Probably.
be. And the thing about it is that is my overall favorite Joker. And don't get me wrong, I like Jared Leto, and I think he put together a serious Joker in Suicide Squad. But
How about Jack Nicholson in the '80s?
I think he was okay. But the way Ledger just enveloped himself into that role, because Jack was still Jack, even
Yeah.
though he had prosthetics on.
Yep.
But Ledger really became the Joker I felt in that movie.
Yeah, he
He
was
goes,
more
and he
psycho.
goes, he goes, "You crazy clown!" And he goes, "No, I'm not. I'm not." And it was just,
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a classic. Alex, how are the Florida doing season following up their Stanley Cup?
The Panthers, the Florida Panthers are, they're. I think they're going to be a good contender if they peak. They're not
Okay.
obviously Carolina is on top on the East, but I think they're going to if they peak at the end of the season, they're gonna make a good run for a repeat. Hopefully,
Beautiful, Bill.
wow.
Beautiful.
that got printed while we were talking.
So that's what people do with 3D printers.
Well, I mean, it actually can print spatulas if you want. You can do
Okay.
anything and everything with it you would not expect. Like my wife's like, "Can it print earrings?" I'm like, "Yeah." Can it print this? Yeah. Can it print that? Pretty much, yeah. Look, and he's even got little dangly feet.
Oh,
Yeah, cool. When you're standing up.
perfect for the rearview mirror.
Well, we've kind of run
We're
through
going
here.
over the markets 10 to 6, Bill. He's
Well,
East Coast
yeah,
time.
that's what we were waiting until he finished up.
Yeah, you're
He finished
waiting,
up.
and he did it. He did it.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being on. Okay, first off, Brian, do you have anything interesting that you would like to share that people
No.
should tune into your channel for?
No. I mean, I'm always posting shit at least once a week if I can. Latest one was that meetup we had Sunday. We were out there for about 4.5, 5 hours, and I always like to tell stories in my videos, and I might have overdone it on this last one. Kind of, and my wife goes, that ended kind of dark." I'm just going, yeah, I guess it did.
Oh, I'm always rolling in when it's dark from
No,
meetup.
I mean it was an upbeat thing. We're all out there fine and having fun, but then it just got real somber.
Well, yeah, that's what it. Yeah, those are the real kind. Like I said, those are the unforgettable moments, and those are the times, like I said, that when you do take a picture and you see the photo again, you go, "Oh God, that day, man, we got into so much shit." Do you remember we lit Bob on fire? Wasn't on purpose. That kind of
Did you ever
thing.
recover?
Well, yeah, really. He's in a video next week. Do you have anything coming up, Alex, that you'd like to share?
I don't have anything pending. Lately, I've been into 20-second, 30-second snippets and verticals and stuff like that, which I've been posting, not necessarily, well, sometimes as shorts.
I
But
refuse to follow the cattle. I am not going to go completely. I'll go vertical once in a while, but I just can't make myself do it all the time.
yeah.
Ron Brown, do you have anything?
Yeah, I was. Yes, last night I was on the beach for other reasons, and the SpaceX rocket went right by us.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was awesome.
I hardly ever take vertical video, but I have my phone.
That was awesome.
I've got a reel on Instagram, and I've got what do you call it on Facebook. Now I got to get a YouTube short up of
It's a
it.
reel on Facebook too, isn't it? I think it's a reel on
Reel
Facebook.
there too, yeah. And I hardly ever do vertical video.
But that did come out awesome. That was so cool. Have y'all seen it?
An iPhone, I use a 2x and a 5x.
Like,
Brian, have y'all seen it?
I saw a clip on the news. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Ron's. Ron's could be used on the news.
They don't follow me on Instagram.
Oh
Oh,
no.
whoop. I saw it on Facebook though.
Yeah, it was.
I
Yeah,
saw it on Facebook.
I got
Yeah,
to
he
get on
said.
YouTube. Because I only put two YouTube shorts out a year, so I got to get it up.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's do this.
Wait a minute.
We're gonna do the. Where is it? Where is the
Yeah,
video, Ron?
yeah.
Now
So
I
Here it
gotta.
is. Here it
Now I
is.
gotta
I'm
see
gonna do
this.
it right
it's
here.
only like 90. It's only like a minute,
Oh,
A
she's
minute's a
talking
long
to you
short.
too.
and it has no music in it, so you don't have to worry about getting the show taken down.
It was just you and her
What?
talking.
No
Right.
AI.
No AI.
No, I didn't have to click that AI
Where's it
content button
at? Where
now.
did it go?
Right,
I
right.
want. Oh, Chrome tab. That's what I want. Facebook.
Roll that clip.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. Dink. And we'll go large. And then we'll get back over here.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to
Yeah,
go.
that's the Eagle Green Christmas tree. And don't
That
that
is
green
so
spot
dope,
the lens
man.
flare. There,
That
that's
is so dope.
The hell of capture.
It shows
No,
up.
I hear the one above me. Yeah, okay.
It shows up in the video
we didn't know what it was.
on the phone.
Yeah,
You know what would have been even better if it blew up.
yeah, that's
Sorry.
definitely.
That was
It
bad.
would be more popular.
Yeah, you get more views. Yeah, three. Wait a minute. Here we go. Thumbs up. Sorry, Ron.
There you go.
There you go. I gave it a thumbs up. That's
I've always
killer,
hoped
I
that I could
think.
see
Look
that.
at the Philadelphia Eagle on top of the tree here.
That's
But
awesome, I think.
it was brighter than that in real life. It lit up the whole beat.
Yeah, that was
Super
really
cool.
cool. That was really bright.
Close that out. And so you already got to see what Ron was sharing.
That,
So
that,
if
was
you
in,
have,
that was in beautiful Ocean City, New Jersey, the summer vacation capital of the world.
Mike's going down another rabbit hole.
Uh-oh. Laser engraved.
All right, we've been on for a little while, and I got stuff I
We
got
went
to
overtime.
and I know you gentlemen got to get some sleep.
It's
And I
late
want to
East
say
Coast.
I'm very grateful to everybody that's here on the panel tonight. Everyone that's come and watched us tonight. I'm grateful for everybody, and please come back next week, and we'll probably get strange and do something weird again then too. Live long and prosper.
Good night, everybody.